After Buddha achieved attainment of a full enlightenment, his first teaching was on the Four Noble Truths. Why it's noble? Because it's universal truth. What is a universal truth? Fact that we are accepted without doubt, such as in the east, the sun rises and the falls in the west. The earth is revolving around the sun. So Four Noble Truths are those kind of truths because it provides a universally practical solution for a universal problem. Things that we all experience on a national scale at all time and places. It is noble in that the person who understands and walks the path will eventually become a noble-hearted person who has been achieved perfect freedom of peace. The Four Noble Truths are truth of suffering, the cause of suffering, the cessation of suffering, and the path to the cessation of suffering, known as the Noble Eightfold Path. That despite all other teachings, the Buddha said, for 49 years, I only teach about suffering and the eradication of suffering. Achieve perfect freedom of peace. He even refused to address anything that did not relate to freedom from suffering. We do everything to protect our children from any danger or pain. Try to provide the most comfortable life. Wish them to live peacefully. So does Buddha. Much greater compassion than human beings. I see suffering in all sentient beings and everywhere. I know a way to get out of it. Here is the way. That's why our center name is The Way. Here is the way. This is not something the Buddha created or there's something from above revealed to him. He had to simply discover the truth, reality, like many people before him had and many people after him would do, just like us. The Buddha stated that we live in a deep coma without knowing these four truths, because we will be always battling between pleasure and pain. The Buddha said, life is dukkha, the truth of suffering. This is the first noble truth. Buddha stated that whether we are happy or unhappy, we all experience suffering, because no happiness lasts forever. And when it does, it leaves us with a disappointment, dissatisfaction, and incomplete happiness. The saddest aspect is leaving us with a never-ending hunger and a lifelong hunting. That's why Buddha said, the life is suffering, never satisfied. It's like drinking salt water. No matter how much you drink, our thirst stays the same. Since we are born, we experience dukkha, suffering. Even moment we are born. Think about it. If newborn babies are so glad to be born into this world, why are they crying instead of laughing? Being in the warm, dark womb and then being exposed to cold air, bright light, and an unfamiliar environment causes shock and suffer. Of course, in medical terms, this is fantastic news because their system is working, but in baby's perspective, it's challenging. So there are suffering of physical and mental, suffering of birth, the suffering of old age, the suffering of sickness, the suffering of death. How's your parents? Are they healthy? My parents suffered from illness for more than 10 years and passed it away. It was so painful to see them battling with the illness and pain that they had to go through every day. Even just thinking about it, the time that they went through, it's painful. Think about your parents, how healthy they were, taking you here and there, try to show you everywhere, and working so hard to taking care of a family. Now, someone needs to take care of them. The suffering of old age, the suffering of sickness. When we see a picture of when they were young, it's hard to recognize. I was surprised when I found some picture of a handsome man. It was actually my dad. Your children will feel the same way as you get older. When they die, we will be heartbroken by the loss of loved ones. We watch children go before their parents. One day, we must say goodbye to our spouse, family, friends, and even pets. Loss of a loved one is one of the biggest pain human beings have to go through. Not only that, the suffering of death. The process of dying is another big issue for all of us. There are so many people don't want to die when they feel their death is so close. And many of them don't know how to die peacefully either. But every day we get closer to death. We cannot stop the progress of time, no matter how hard we try. There is a suffering of worrying about having to deal with hard situation, like being involved in a violent crime or terrible accident, losing your job, getting divorced, or unexpected health problem like cancer, Alzheimer, heart stroke. What about suffering of not getting what we want? House, job promotion, love, recognition, power, fame, money, respect, attention, or any other desired outcome. And there is a suffering from running into undesirable circumstance and being cut off from things that one desire. These sufferings can be easily recognized and happen all around us. I hear so many people saying something like this. Oh, I have no wishes. I'm not a greedy person. All I want is to be exactly as I am now. My entire family is healthy, has a decent jobs, and there are no problems. But the next month, the person discovered that they needed a kidney transplant, and their life was shattered. In another case, a couple fell in love and agreed to marry. They said, oh, we understand each other so well, have the same lifestyle and goals, but 2 months later, they filed for divorce. It was one of the most ugly divorces. So there is suffering of impermanence, changing. We hold tight onto happy moments that we don't want to go away from. Or even if it's not perfect, we prefer to stay the same if there are not any major issues. But we are dualistic beings. There is good, there must be also be bad. Happy exists, so does unhappy. Like and dislike, love and hatred, success and failure, nirvana and hell. Pretty ugly. Buddha taught that even happy times can bring suffering, since they eventually disappear or become attached to. Of course, we want to stay forever young and beautiful, maintain good health, and have enough money to survive. But nothing lasts forever. Whatever enjoyment and pleasure you find in life, it'll be gone one day. And when it's gone, we will feel the misery of being separated from it. Thus, all enjoyment and pleasure in this world are also suffering. And we don't have control as things change. The things that happen to us and the way those things impact us are beyond our control. We are in insecurity and discomfort of what's coming, worried about what the future may be bring for us. We are limited to doing our best and hoping for the best. But even that thought, the wheels of suffering start turning because we attach to it. On top of that, we share our own dissatisfaction to others. Each unhappy person gets charged with agitation, making everyone who enters the space feel stressed and unhappy. Personal tension becomes social tension. This is the main issue with the life. Its unsatisfactory nature. Things happen that we don't want, and things we want do not happen. And we don't know how or why this process works, just as we are all clueless of our own beginnings and ends. Clearly, we see and are experiencing suffering. Even at this moment, suffering exists. Suffering is a common experience for all people, regardless of wealth or social status. I have a funny story. Someone saw a very famous, beautiful actress, with the limousine and stuff like that. And she bought whole junk food at a gas station. And the manager became angry and took it back. To keep the beauty and fame, cannot even enjoy some junk food. Yeah. It's suffering. Accepting the truth about suffering is not a negative viewpoint, but rather clearly understand what reality we are facing every day and how we can live more peacefully. The Buddha stated that recognizing and accepting suffering properly is the first step to liberate from suffering. If you don't like the word suffering, unsatisfied, what's our problem? To fix our problem, we must first recognize the reality of the circumstance. Recognizing problem in the right way lead to proper solution. In the same way, a patient receives the right care to recover if a doctor properly recognizes the symptoms and provide right treatment. That's why Buddha said, aware or recognize, accepting that we never satisfy. That's important. We have to accept it and aware about it. We say, think positive, I'm positive, because there is so many problems. That's why we need to be positive. Otherwise, we are so overwhelmed about all the problems. So there is cause of suffering. the second noble truth. The Buddha stated that the root of our suffering is ignorance. It's like, I'm positive, I have joy all the time. Ignorance. We ignore about our desire. We ignore about our thoughts. We ignore about our whole situation, the world. We don't really know what makes us happy. We have a lack of knowledge about our happiness and feel that we are unhappy because we lack something or have not achieved something. I don't have enough money, help, family, power, health, love, recognition. But let me ask you, if these issues actually cause us to suffer, why have so many wealthy, famous, and powerful people turn to drugs or alcohol?
Right.
Even ending their lives. Think about it. If we get what we desire, it never fulfills to our expectation. If what we achieve is as excellent as we hope, or even better, it never be enough. We are attached to the habit of seeking more, better, higher, or stronger. You get a job promotion, but right next day, seeking for higher position, making more money, better relationship, stronger pleasure, stronger drug or alcohol for more good feeling, better places, more delicious food, and more praising word and recognition. Object to any unpleasant experience make us desire more stronger craving. Stronger craving creates stronger suffering. We can never be happy. Where does craving come from? All of those attachments originated from the I, ego. The image we have of ourselves. Each of us believe that the I is the most important person in the world. We don't limit our attachment to the I. We expand it to mine. We all have strong attachment to our possession since it strengthens our sense of I. My work, my belief, my money, my opinion, my family, my time, my belongs, my emotion, my pain.
Wow.
We are all convinced that our own views and traditions are the best, and we become agitated when they are criticized. We express our opinion and others reject them. We get upset. We don't want to fail. We don't want to be judged by others. And we don't want to feel bad when we make a mistake. That's why there is blaming. The fine art of making others responsible for all the difficult things that happen to us. And the easiest way to escape from guilt, shame, and responsibility. Protect our ego and control. But it's dangerous because we lose our power in our lives and suffer 24 hours, 7 days. So I heard enough of suffering. Is there a way to experiencing less suffering? Like you asked me a question earlier?
Yeah.
Yes. Understanding how pleasure deceived and betrayed us. The more we desire pleasure, the more disappointment we become. And so we sink further in the ocean of suffering. However, the Buddha teaches us that joy exists in every place and at every moment if we understand impermanence and letting go. When pleasure happens or no issues in life, enjoy it without clinging.
Yeah.
Because we know it will pass. So we can have real joy with a pure heart, with gratitude. That maybe bring us less attachment or longing after the moment. People around you or the situation you have now may change swiftly tomorrow, like you experience. Even if you despise someone, their circumstance may change, making you feel bad about being disguised. When anything terrible happens, remember that it is also temporal, which will make us smile more when it passes. Of course, some situations never go back to their previous condition, but human beings, we have a brain and are always learning and discovering new ways to adapt. If we can try to practice this way, every moment will be more meaningful and thankful. I have experienced that many things are no longer out there as a result of a climate change. And I'm realizing that the food tastes are also changing. But it also makes me feel grateful for how fortunate I was and for the things that I have now, because I may not have them tomorrow. Look at the 99-cent store. Never imagine it'll be gone forever. My favorite store.
Me too. That's a lot of fun stuff.
Our current condition could be better, but they could also be worse. Instead of living in the present moment, we have developed the habit of focusing on what we do not have. Tall people wish to be shorter, whereas the short ones wish to be taller. People with the curly hair prefer straight hair, while those with the straight hair prefer curly.
That's so true.
However, if we can be content with what we have, we may be able to discover our hidden potential much easier and live with strong confidence, since we are focusing on the reality, the present moment, rather than searching for future dreams. Furthermore, no matter how many days we have, we are walking closer to our death every day. We are breathing both to live and to die. It's not pessimism. Let's be honest. We've witnessed death almost every day. And we all know it'll happen to us. So why not apply to our lives? That will allow us to live more fully and meaningfully. Instead of being angry, smile. Instead of complaining, be grateful. And have more compassion for ourselves and others. Maybe it will bring us less attachment and letting go. Letting go is not about destroying or rejecting something. It's just letting it be and allowing the desire to pass. We only need mindfully to realize that, oh, there is a desire, there is a greed, anger, or illusion, and let it go without grasping or attachment. Our world never leaves us to live the way we want it anyway. So if we practice letting go properly, the cause of suffering will gradually leave us and we will experience less suffering. So we can end the suffering. That's the third noble truth. This truth is based on the Buddha's direct experience upon his awakening under the Bodhi tree. And he proves as a living example that this is possible in a human lifetime. So do we. It seems like Buddha's story is an unachievable hero myth, but it is only our ignorance too. We can be another legend of future Buddha. That's what Buddha said. I showed you it's possible. We have all potential to attain perfect free of desire and suffering in this lifetime. And we can work together, which is why there are Sangha community where people who share the same belief support and encourage one another to experience what it's like to be living in peace, no matter what situation bring in our lives. Who knows? Maybe in the future, some people like me talk about how Anahita Buddha attained Buddhahood and she taught us so and so. So there is the way to liberate from the cycle of suffering. The Noble Eightfold Path. That's the fourth noble truth. Look at things rightly, think about things rightly, speak the right word, perform right conduct, lead right human life, strive to live rightly, constantly aim the mind in the right direction, constantly keep the right mind and never be agitated by anything. Because of the time, I couldn't explain enough about third and fourth truth, and I hope we have another chance to discuss it further because I have a funny story to share. I and the other nun went to the dentist to get some teeth out. When the dentist heard, ouch, out of pain, he stopped the treatment and asked, I thought you guys are holy. Why do you feel pain? It was just such a simple, innocent concept. And I can tell how pure his heart is.
Yeah.
However, we are not considered holy or better to others. I have a constipation every morning. I get agitated, disappointed, and wish for something. I just recognize and aware when it happens so I can apply Buddha's teaching to not extend those thoughts or emotions.
Yeah.
I may try harder. That's why I choose monastic life. But you crave achievement in the everyday world, whereas I seek enlightenment. But I believe that together we can devote our effort to creating a strong practice environment. Take hands, helping one another to engage in deep spiritual practice to taste what Buddha achieved. Because the Buddha is everywhere. If we can help each other recognize our true nature, we shall find awakened wisdom inside ourselves and merge into the massive peace and joy of Buddhahood. The important thing is to experience it. The only way to experience truth directly is to look within, to observe oneself. But according to the Buddha, if you can feel or become aware of very tiny little bit of existence of suffering, you have made huge, significant progress toward enlightenment. So, if you did today, congratulations. This is all I have today, and thank you very much for having me today. If you have any question, I'm more than happy to take it. I am from a nation of compassion. My race is a simply human being. My purpose of life is to keep this home, so-called Mother Earth, clean, with mind of intelligence and heart of generosity. Eyes, those have ability to see origin of beauty. Ear, to hear sound of universe. Gut, that can sacrifice life itself to save only home, earth, that human being can live on it to practice awaken, live in Dharma way, and be enlightened.
Thank you so much. That was very enlightening and very powerful. And I really always enjoy your teachings. And I hope